We must welcome the one and only Jack Oswald inside of this show, former UK-based professional tennis player. I was touring on the ITF Futures circuit, lugging around a bunch of rackets and school bucks and being frustrated the whole time. Now he has made a modular type bag, I believe, bringing it to the masses on the interwebs and winning all along the way. Everybody, welcome inside of this show, the one and only Jack Oswald, founder. Here. Jack,
come on.
Hello.
Appreciate you making the time to join us, brother.
Thanks so much for having me. I've been a big fan of the show, so it's cool to be here.
Come on. Now you're just being nice, Jack. That makes us feel good. Stop. Don't say any more.
You've got an international audience. What can I say?
That's amazing. That makes us feel great.
That is amazing, man. Bro, give us some background on bringing this thing to life. I mean, we don't have too many former professional tennis players, Jack, who have launched and become founders and successful in e-commerce. I mean, give us the backstory on this.
Yeah, well, I kind of stumbled into it, to be honest. I was actually born in the US,
Really?
and grew up there. I haven't got the accent for some reason, but I grew up to there till I was like 13. Picked up the bug for tennis in the US. Came back to Europe and was training for basically my dream to play pro tennis, and was a really cool opportunity. Got to travel a lot around the world from a young age, up until really like around the pandemic, around 2020, 2021. So I was doing it for quite a while, and was traveling around with rackets, with gear, even with school stuff, all this stuff around the world. So it was a really cool teenage young adult experience. I wouldn't take it back for anything. It was really, really cool. But yeah, I just kind of started getting into just trying to design a better bag for myself, honestly, on the side, just for fun. And I just got really into the whole product design side of it, and it kind of just grew out from there.
So how did that go from, okay, I've built this bag for myself, but before you are potentially realizing, this isn't just my own frustration. This is multiple players on tour as well. Maybe I should actually expand this into a business. When was that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got forced into it because when the pandemic hit, I couldn't travel as a tennis player. I couldn't really play at all. I couldn't get on a tennis court, which was had to kind of refocus myself into something else. And luckily, I kind of already been kind of starting Cancha for a little while and was kind of getting into it. And it was a natural transition in that way. But yeah, I mean, I kind of realized actually quite early on that it wasn't necessarily about the pro tennis player out there who got sponsors and getting kit for free and all that sort of stuff. It was actually around like the everyday person being more active, being able to fit it into their daily routine. And that's kind of where the modular idea came about, because people are if they're hitting the tennis courts and they're going to work into the office after, or they're just living an active lifestyle, you're carrying around a lot of stuff, right? And so you need something that can adapt. And so that's kind of where the modular side of things came into it, and kind of people being able to add and attach accessories for different activities, whether they're going to the gym, tennis courts, work, or whatever.
I find this concept fascinating. And Jack, I come from the sports world. I have a football background. I also worked at a baseball company. And for those who don't know, there's money to be had in bags. I mean, if you're traveling to, tennis court, or you're traveling to the baseball field, you're going everywhere every weekend, and mom and dad are helping you put that thing on, or you have to lug everything around. I mean, it becomes a nuisance. It's a big nuisance. And so if you can genuinely give people a better experience, there's a lot of money to be had there. I find this fascinating, this kind of modular approach where you can customize the thing for your own needs. I mean, tell me more about this. I can't imagine that this is easy to execute on, although it's a great idea for the various people that have their customizable needs.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea really came from I saw a lot of what was going on in the outdoors industry. If you see what the Patagonias of the world, even like camera bags, Peak Design, brands that I idolize now in the bag space that just do some amazing stuff. Some of it modular, some of it just really cool materials, just amazing design. And I just didn't understand why that didn't exist in any format in the sports side of things, So, I mean, not just tennis, but specifically tennis, definitely, where a lot of brands are just making cheap bags with their logos all over them and hoping to sell more tennis rackets or hoping to sell more shoes or whatever it is. And I kind of knew that we could do a lot better. I had bags breaking on me all the time, and I knew that just from a durability, like material perspective, I wanted something better. So it came originally from that idea, and just seeing how cool the innovation was in other categories, in bags and other categories, and just you know, and all those type of things. And so that's where it kind of came from. And then I thought, well, this just, there's a use case here, and it kind of grew out from there.
Fascinating.
You know, if you were starting kind of the brand today, knowing everything you know now, what would you do differently in that first year? Just having gone through all the trials and tribulations.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've made so many more mistakes than I care to admit, and the fact that I think Cancha's still alive sometimes surprises me.
Not a small feat in and of itself, Jack. Keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think yeah, it's the first couple of years. I mean, I honestly was a tennis player and I didn't know anything about business, honestly. And so I had to make, you know, a lot of bad choices to get where I am today, and I feel like I know a lot more, hopefully, than I did back then. But I think product wise, I think I was too eager to kind of expand the product line at the very beginning and spread inventory out, and you know, just, you know, thought I could do everything, sort of thing. And you know, I think if I could spend more time at the very beginning just honing in on, you know, one product, one main, even with like the accessories maybe around it, but like focusing on like a system that we could, you know, really get good at selling. Because, you know, nowadays just launching a new product line is not easy, whether it's, you know, the investment, you know, from whether you're running ads on Meta and investing all the money there, and taking it away from the products you're in, and also just trying to you know, taking, every time you start something new, you're taking money away from what's potentially working. So I think I learned that the hard way, and kind of refocus things kind of a couple of years in, and it made a big difference for sure, but it was hard.
Jack, when you say expand, do you mean like going from tennis to including pickleball or including paddle, or what, you know, what, tell us about what that means.
Yeah, we briefly went into like pickleball and paddle, for example, in say 2022.
Okay.
And we've kind of gone back into it now, and I'm much more proud of what we've done, because I've, you know, we've had the time and the space and a bit more money to be able to do it, and really create like a, you know, a bag specific for that type of person. But at the beginning, I kind of just tried to translate what I was doing in tennis into that, and I realized that the use case was a little bit different. You know, how people travel, what they're carrying, everything was a little bit different. And so yeah, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't like you know, still managed to sell inventory and move on. But yeah, I think I just went into too many different categories. And I think also just from a marketing perspective, in terms of speaking to one type of person, it's really important at the beginning. And yeah.
Focus.
Focus. Could you talk to us a little bit about this 1% environmental commitment? Because I think you had this from day one of the brand. Could you talk to us a little bit about that and kind of the ethos and your thought process behind that?
Yeah, it's really cool. I just came across it, just again, a lot of the outdoors brands I was kind of idolizing at the beginning when I was getting started with Cancha, were I was kind of starting to notice this was becoming quite prominent. And essentially, you donate 1% of your total revenue, so not profit, total revenue, to environmental nonprofits.
Wow.
So yeah, we've done that. I did that since the very beginning, and so it's a big commitment, I think, but it's really cool. I think you get to meet a lot of different partners. I mean, they reach out to you as well, and all different types of, I mean, so many different, you know, areas around the world, you know, for different causes, and the networking as well, just in terms of like meeting other cool brands that are doing the same thing and what they're supporting and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun, and it just I think with you know, with Cancha, I think I always wanted to create something that meant something to me, and I think that was just a small part of it of meaning something to me. So I think, you know, it's not like it's something you have to do, but I just think that finding things that are important to you when you're building the brand and stuff like that is just quite important.
I love that.
You know, when I'm thinking about what you're doing, Jack, there are some big boys that you're playing ball against here. You know, like the Wilsons of the world, and you know, you would know the market better than me. But I find that sometimes, at least in my own experience, in the baseball vertical and in some other places, sometimes the incumbents, the big boys, the winners, they just can't move as fast as somebody who's digitally native, new, a startup, etc. And I find it compelling that you've kind of borrowed a modular type model that you've seen in other places, you know, outdoors, et cetera, and you've brought that over here to the tennis world and now the pickleball world, et cetera. I find that fascinating, and this seems to like play out in sports. It seems to play out in sports again and again. Sometimes these entrenched winners, they're not looking at other categories for inspiration, and they can't innovate and move as fast as somebody like yourself can. I mean, have you seen that? Have you seen that play out as true in your category?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for other sports, but for tennis, I mean, it's a very kind of has a very archaic model in terms of just how like antiquated the way things are sold in terms of like up until when I was a kid playing, there's still reps for the brands in various different areas around the country who were like trying to sell to like the tennis clubs and the, you know, and like none of them were really selling online. And it was just like, you know, it's just, even like the online stuff was very antiquated. And so, yeah, up until very recently, a lot of these brands have just been doing zero D2C, and they just sponsor, you know, and I'm sure it works in their use case, but you know, sponsoring big players, you know, hoping to get big retail deals and yeah, it's and there's not a whole lot of innovation that's happened in tennis, honestly. I mean, whether it's like tennis rackets, for example, which haven't really changed in the last 20, 30 years, or you know, even you know, bags, for example. I mean, it's I think you know it's fun to go into something where there hasn't been much innovation. I think bags as a category has got it's a really fun category to be in because there's so many cool use cases and whether it's like, you know, small things like a sling or like a backpack or a tote bag or this duffel, there's so many cool things you can do. And you can, the design element from patterns to, you know, to the you know, a bag might have 50 to 100 different materials in it. Right. So, you know, you can make something totally different just by material choice alone. So it's a lot of fun, but it isn't easiest in the sense of shipping. You know, but our bags, especially like tennis racket bags in general are big. They're expensive to ship around the world, and they're not like a massive, you know, LTV returning customer thing. Like the modular side of things for us is a bit unique, so people do come back and buy, and they buy, but it's not like, you know, it's not a subscription product, it's not consumable. You know, we definitely have to try and be profitable on first order and stuff, and so you know that's always been the challenge. I think more so as time has gone by, just because of the landscape we're in, but yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Jack, I mean, you've pivoted right now from, you know, I'm frustrated from kind of lugging my own gear around to now you're operating a global brand. I mean, what decisions early on kind of led to opening those doors of you going from frustrated to now? I mean, now you're running a global brand at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the side of it, I think one thing that's good about being an athlete is you kind of get used to this kind of sort of 1% mentality when you just
go back at it
each day. Yeah. So you just, I think I got pretty good at just enjoying going back into the state, like getting incrementally better at things each day. I think that helps because when you're building anything, I think it's all about those building blocks. And it can feel very far away. And I kind of just got used to that as a junior tennis player, like seeing, you know, it felt like miles away, you know, where all these pro players were. And especially as you get better at things, and even in business, when, you know, the wins tend to be, because you're looking at it in the grander scheme of things, you know, the improvement doesn't feel quite as, the jumps don't feel quite as big as they do at the very beginning. And so you have to get quite good at kind of just like being able to deal with that and kind of enjoy the process of doing it. So I think enjoying the process of doing it is really important. And especially, you know, I think D2C is a hard business for anybody. And so I think enjoying that process is really important. So yeah, I think it's definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk, Jack, you sound like an athlete. You do.
100%.
You do.
100%.
It's not just embracing the suck, but it's learning to have joy in the midst of it. Coming back 0.1%, 1% better every day, battling it out. Today's a new day. That mentality bears out. And tell me again, when you started this thing, Jack, is this like 2020, 2021?
So I mean, I technically started working on the bags in 2018. And so between 2018, I was taking prototypes around with me around the world. Cancha means court in Spanish. So I speak Spanish and French just from travels around, like from tennis. And so the name came to when I was traveling in Latin America. But it wasn't really, I wasn't like, we properly launched, I say like end of 2020, beginning of 2021.
Wow, man. Wow. I mean, to ride the various waves
Yeah.
that we've had
Yeah.
in
Chaos.
D2C. I mean, it's, it's continual chaos.
Yeah.
And meta prices up and down, iOS 14, all of the things, TikTok, etc. I mean,
Yeah.
beyond like the product side and the product development, I can sense that you have real like there's real teeth and passion there for you, and you enjoy like creating this thing. On the distribution side, as you've like navigated all of these continual chaotic things that we have in e-commerce, what are you excited about in 2026? Is there a particular channel, or is it a certain kind of creative, or anywhere where you see there's some opportunity to make headway?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I'm starting to see happen quite a bit is this kind of resurgence of retail and working with partners in distribution as well. I think I focused a lot on D2C at the beginning with Cancha, and I think it helped kind of grow the brand. I certainly helped me learn a lot about marketing, about all the different side of that. But now I think I'm seeing a lot of opportunity as well in sort of working with partners in countries outside, for example, like in like a distribution in places like Korea and Japan and places like that, where we're seeing a lot of we're seeing a lot of interest in the bags and stuff. But those regions are hard to sell in, different language, different payment structures, different marketplaces. All these things are very different, and the way they buy and everything's very different. But there's some, as you kind of get into this, especially in sports, I think, but there's a lot of opportunities to build relationships with people in the retail side and distribution side in those areas, where you can start to get a lot more scope for selling in them without having to learn Japanese, basically.
Incredible, man.
Could you talk to us a little bit about this Korean Superfan that you have that basically said, I think Jack Cancha president, basically? Could you talk to us about this Superfan that is just like inundated with your brand now?
So we had a customer reach out to me. This is actually last year, and just said, we've bought several Cancha bags, and we want to distribute them in Korea. We've had like orders come through to Korea, but we've never like done anything. And obviously in Korea, it's not like the first place you think of. I mean, but and they were like, yeah, we're gonna quit our jobs. We want to just want to like grow Cancha in Korea, they placed a small order sort of like middle of last year as like a test.
Yeah.
And then they placed like 100K order for like a few months ago. So I was like, I need to go out there. So I went out there to visit them, and they were just customers of ours that just decided to go all in on this and help and just grow it in Korea, and like all the retail and side of things that I wouldn't know at all where to start. So it was really cool. And like, they like took me to their tennis club, played tennis with them. They got me this hat.
The hat's sick.
President of Cancha. I was like, what? I was like, just really impressed by hospitality for sure. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. That's incredible, man. It's gotta feel almost surreal to be 2018, man. You're lugging around your bags and you're thinking about like, man, how can I make this better? And then here we are in 2026, and you're flying over to Korea, and they're making presidential caps for you. Loving Cancha. I mean, that's an incredible narrative art. Crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, I feel extremely lucky. I think it's not easy a lot of the time, but especially with an inventory-based business, growing it, it's always hard. But I mean, I feel so lucky. Honestly, I mean, I didn't know what I was going to do beyond my tennis career, and apart from maybe become a coach. And so to be able to have the opportunity to learn so much, and I think this is what is so cool about I think the e-com community in general is just like. There's so much you can learn. There's so many people that are willing to teach you, to kind of show you the ropes for you to like, there's just so much information being shared. I've met so many people across the pond, out elsewhere, doing some really cool brands, and I've learned from them, and it's really, I mean, it's just so much fun. I mean, it really is. And being able to, whether it's from the product side, whether it's on the marketing side, there's just people are really kind of just know their bits and pieces in these different areas. And it's so cool to learn from them and share.
Wow. I mean, your product is poised for partnerships and collaborations. Are we going to see Andy Roddick rocking one of these in the future? Like, what do you guys, can you tease anything for us as far as, brand partnerships, potential brand collaborations, or even if you got Andy Roddick in your back pocket, let me know.
Or Jack, if and who would you want to be rocking?
Who would you want?
I mean, who should be rocking this thing?
Oh, Andy Roddick, let's go. Come on.
I mean, I think on the US side, Andy Roddick would be really cool. Let's go. I mean, I've always been a big fan of obviously of Roger Federer. I mean, I'd be so surprised if I got a call from his team. But like, especially now that he's with On. But I feel like, for example, what he's done with On has been incredible for the brand. For I think like his influence in the brand as well. I mean, I think what I really like about him is how engaged he is with the company and the products and everything. And it's not just like a sponsorship deal. It's like a real investment in, and I think it's so cool. And I think I love his I think his style, his kind of, I think obviously that would be amazing. But I think there's some up and coming players at the moment who've got some real like personalities that'd be cool to get involved with. I think there's other brands I'm talking to, and like there's some the great thing about now as well is that there's not just like brands that are trying to do everything, right? There's some really cool like shoe brands coming out in the tennis space that are just doing shoes, and we can collaborate with them and do some really cool stuff. And likewise in apparel and things like that. So there's some cool, there's a few different things in the pipeline. We'll see what happens.
Let's go.
Sick. I'm ready to next time I kick on. What's the Netflix series for the tennis show? I love that show. I can't remember what it's called though. You seen that, Colin? The tennis, the pro tennis documentary thing. Oh, it's so good. It's
something like Breakpoint or something, or maybe I made that up. Maybe it's
Breakpoint. Yeah, Breakpoint.
Yeah.
Next time, the next season that comes up, I think it's time that somebody is rocking a Cancha in that thing, and winning on the clay or wherever they're winning and doing it big. Jack, man, incredible story. And I love the inspiration from one category, bringing it to a specific sport, which they all seem to be so archaic and established, bringing that innovation and then sticking with it and going global, international, baby, and taking this thing to the moon all over. Brother, we celebrate it. And man, we appreciate you making the time to join us. We look forward to having you back. Will you come back to see us?
I'd love to. And thanks so much for doing this show. I'm enjoying it so much. So keep doing what you're doing.
Of course. We look forward to having you back, brother. Thank you.